everybody. My name is Mark. I'm affiliate director at Leadbeat, and today we're going to talk about Nutra in 2019, how to compete in native adult ads within Nutra vertical. But before we go, I want to thank you all for you being here and hope on the conference will be very productive and very enjoyable for you here and in terms of beneficial partnerships and all things around this topic. Okay, let's kick it off. When I was told that I was going to have a speech here in this conference, I started thinking about what's the most valuable thing I can share here. And of course, the first thing that come into my mind was Nutra. Nutra in native adult ads. Why native ads and adult is exactly? Because I have an experience with this traffic source for already 2 years in a row with my partners. And Nutra, of course, being as a direct advisor throughout 9 years as a Leadbeat company, we know what data is crucial on this market, what insights is workable here. And of course, we put together all things around this topic, and I can share this one. This is a small timeline for us, how it goes on. I will start off with Nutra basics. By the way, this market is very interesting for me because it's a very seldom case when I face with a guy in India or in Asia who is dealing with Nutra. The first question to you, how many of you have ever experiences with Nutra? Raise your hands. Okay, too loud. It means that my shareable experience is going to be very crucial and very important for all of you because you have never done is it. And after all, of course, we will move ahead to market tendencies. I will tell you what has happened in last year with Nutra market, what ups and downs we have, and what is going to be in the current year. The core idea of my speech is, of course, native ads. Native ads is very popular and very ubiquitous traffic source ever around the world. I share my tips how to deal with these traffic sources and what's the difference between white hat offers and what is the advantages and disadvantages of this traffic source. The next thing that I am going to talk about, of course, tips working with Nutra. Nutra is completely different vertical in general compared to dating, gambling, or the others. And the last thing and the most valuable for you might be, of course, it's cases that we have experienced in last year with the popular traffic sources in native ads industry. There are 3 types of Nutra out there. The first one is straight sale. The second one, trials. And the third one, cash on delivery. The first 2 Nutra kinds that we see on this slide, they are the most complicated compared to cash on delivery. You ask me why. The answer is that the first 2 ones require your credit card bank. It means that this is very workable and very beneficial for those countries where we can see a very developed bank system. It means, for example, in USA, every teenager has his own credit card. It means the conversion flow is most likely be in this market. For example, instead of Africa, because bank system is not well developed there. And cash on delivery, it is where we specialize in. Cash on delivery nowadays is more ubiquitous and the more beneficial compared to the others. Of course, it depends on many things. But what we see throughout 9 years, the return of investment is much higher compared to straight sale or trials. Straight sale and trials, this is 2 categories when an affiliate gets paid after putting credit card information into space on the landing pages. What does it mean? It means that it's more complicated It means you have to find an exact audience in order to be converted. Compared to cash on delivery, an affiliate gets paid immediately after an lead is approved. How approval rate is being worked? When a customer landed into your landing page, he sees different spaces for putting information. For example, name and telephone number. And when he puts it there, a call center derived a lead. After a lead coming to a call center, operator or manager of call center will reach out to a customer, and if a customer is ready for delivery, and after delivery, a customer pays money to courier. But as you can see, I highlighted arrows into green color when an affiliate gets paid. The difference is that since the very beginning, straight sale and trials don't have disadvantages for advertisers. Why? Because they don't keep damages even a customer rejects from delivery. But in case of cash on delivery, we see that an advertiser pays money on the middle of this conversion flow. And in most cases, approximately 40 until 70%, most of all leads are declining by customers after then they are approved. And it is a complexity of being on this market. By the way, cash on delivery is divided by two types: CPA model and CPL model, cost per lead and cost per action. Cost per lead means that an affiliate just has to provide a call center with valid lead. Valid lead means that call center can availably reach out to a customer, because sometimes it happens then you get a lead and there is no connection and you can't reach out to a customer. CPA model, of course, is more preferable for advertisers because at least they get validated leads. Okay, and we moving ahead. Market tendencies. We're going to take a close look what happened in last year, including current year, and what is going to be. Nutra vertical is divided by at least 4 categories, what we see right here: adult, beauty, health, and weight loss, as well as white hat offers, but unfortunately we're not focusing on this category. What we see right here is adult category has been falling down throughout already 2 years, at least 1 year, sorry, 1 year. At the same time, we see how health category is rising. You ask me what the reasons are. The reasons are running ahead because of Facebook. Facebook is the most widespread traffic source in Nutra industry. And the reasons are not just being as a Facebook, because Facebook is a tech giant in technology industry, including advertising. We can see how Facebook starting restricting all accounts leaving. Nowadays, it's so complicated to pass over banning, because Facebook cares about what its customers see in a news feed. Of course, it doesn't want to see black hat offers or whatever else. You know, of course, it's more preferable for them e-commerce, travel, insurance, or, I don't know, Tinder, for example. That is more valuable for real customers. And of course, nobody believes that enlargement goods and beauty goods are very workable and really can bring a value for a customer. Beauty has never been the very popular category in Nutra market, but nonetheless we can see how weight loss category has been falling down as well. The reasons are that throughout all being of Nutra vertical, weight loss was the alternative instead of adult. If you was going to work with something white instead of black, I mean adult category, of course your choice was weight loss category. But nowadays we see how this category is pretty stable. However, we see how nowadays it's losing to health category. By the way, health category is very wide, the widest from these four ones. Health category is including joints, antifungal, anti-parasite products. They're a very wide selective list. And weight loss, yes, I repeat, it's very stable, but health is going to be on the top of this graphic. And our expectations that health would be the biggest and the most workable and the most convenient for new affiliates who are coming to this market. Okay. The next thing that I already was told, that Facebook is a very widespread traffic source in this category. By the way, I want to note that this is a split, this is a ratio between all traffic sources, and it's in accordance to our surveys among affiliates. It's not about volumes, because I know many affiliates who deal with native ads and push notification ads, and they do much more volume compared to Facebook affiliates. Facebook is, by the way, why Facebook? The answer is simple. The answer is that Facebook has the clearest and the purest traffic ever around the whole affiliate marketing industry. The second place is native ads. Historically, it's a very competitive traffic field. And we see how it's starting losing to push notification ads. In last year, push ads was on the edge, on the dawn, on its life. You will see in the next slide. And the rest is search engine optimization, Google AdWords, and etc. By the way, including banner ads, because banner ads is not converted as native ads nowadays is. Traffic kind balance in the current year, what we see? We see how push notifications starting winning instead of push ads. And our expectation is that push notifications nowadays on the trend, and it's getting bigger. Okay, the core thing of my presentation, of course, is native ads. And when you think about what you are going to do on this field, the question is whether it's white hat or black hat. Black hat, I mean adult. White ads is deservedly the most ubiquitous traffic source compared to adult, because you know people have biases and don't want to deal with adult because it's something black. Nonetheless, adult market is very huge. And as we see, it has only a quarter of the whole cake in this field. If you are going to work with white hat, you know, beauty, health, or weight loss, of course, the first choice that bump it into your mind is MGID. MGID is deservedly the best, the biggest, the clearest traffic in this field. But when I have said that MGID is the biggest, I was a bit wrong. Because in general, ref content and tabula as well, basically is the biggest traffic sources ever around this world. However, if we are talking about cash on delivery, we are focusing only on tier 2 and tier 3 countries. It means that using ref content or tabula is more preferable if you are working with straight sale or trials. As I said already, where the bank system is more developed and where you can find an audience with credit cards. If you start working with adult, there are not three, really I know 5, and I will count it. The 3 top traffic sources, what we get traffic from. The first one is traffic stars, aka X-Hamster. The main traffic source is X-Hamster, is a very big publisher on this field. Traffic Factory has, until recent times, it had only 2 publishers, xcnn.com and xvideos. By the way, these 2 publishers have been listed throughout 20 years as the biggest publishers ever in porn industry. And ExaClick, it is a collection of the huge amount of publishers around the world regarding porn sites. The rest is Traffic Junkie, the biggest tier 1 porn network. It's very competitive in general, and you have to spend lots of time in order to optimize your campaigns, but nonetheless, if you are going to start dealing with tier 1 countries, I suggest using all these traffic sources along with Traffic Junkie. Key things creating promo materials. Before we get started in affiliate marketing in general, first thing that you are going to do is think about the offer, what values and what the audience is. You have to advertise, of course. Of course, if you are going to promote enlargement goods offers, the first thing that you have to do is describe, deliver a value to a customer. Tell him what's the reason of your purchase. And I'm smoothly moving ahead, and the way and approach how you can deal with that is push on his pains. If a customer is not well in sex, of course tell him, remind him, force him to purchase your good. Using success stories is really a very ubiquitous approach in this field. I think even it's not about Nutra only. It's about gambling, where a betting person start earning lots of money. It's about dating, where a guy found his love, on this side. Successful stories is quite enough approach, and you have to land this story on your landing page. And needless to say that using your unique materials is crucial. If you are not good at designing, promo materials like creatives, pre-landings and landings, you can, of course, purchase these materials from someone, as well as you can use spy tools. And after all, when you found what is advertised nowadays in your field with your offer or wherever else, you can download it, and after all, you can just maintain. Simple tips, but it's very crucial. If you just add a bit difference compared to the real creative, you can drastically increase your conversion because it's unique material. Moving ahead. Okay. And this, we have 3 cases working with adult native ads. All these 3 cases are about enlargement product. And the difference is just geo. In the first case, we have used grease as a gel. And what's the key thing? When you get started with native ads, the first list of suggestions you will find that find an offer, create your promo materials. Just a moment. And start increasing your billing with your convenient bid. Our case is about how it looks like in general, naturally. When you found a convenient bid with your offer, sometimes it happens that it doesn't provide you with much traffic as you wish. No, really, if you already have created a whitelist of your publishers, you have to increase your bid in order to get profit, much more profit. And the key thing is that when you have an average bid among the whole auction, it doesn't provide you with sufficient data. It means, it entails that you can't find proper data for ad optimization. And as usual, an average affiliate stopped doing with this offer in a couple of days. The key thing is, what if I tell you that you have to think in long term? Long term, I mean, the first thing, measure your traffic in a weekly basis. Don't pay attention on what has happened last day. You have to put your campaigns throughout a couple of weeks at least in order to collect enough data for ad optimization. And it is a key thing because many affiliates are in a rush for profit. And unfortunately, it entails damages for them. Yes, of course, it takes time. It takes money. Nonetheless, eventually, you end up being with profit. This is creatives. As I already said, push on customers' pains. If you want to purchase your product, tell him how it can help him out and what time does it take in order to succeed. By the way, throughout all this case, we have used approximately 6 or 5 creatives at all, and only 2 landing pages. The simple hack dealing with native ads is just creating as more creative as you can, and after all, you will see what is the best ones. This is just proof screenshots of statistics from Traffic Stars as well as from Affiliate Network about revenue. I want to back. Yes, and as you see, profit here, $632. Return of investments, 146. And I remind that we have spent only $5 per day. $5, when the payout is approximately, don't remember, 22 or 23. Yes, it takes time. The duration period is approximately how much? 8 months. Are you ready to keep working throughout this period? Something incredible, really, in general, and only mostly experienced affiliates who have big data for his cases, they can understand the value of keeping working. Okay. The second case is from Traffic Factory. On my opinion, Traffic Factory has a very cool traffic for Tier 2 countries, especially. And we have been working with Bulgaria throughout 4 months. and we get lots of profit. By the way, what the real mission of affiliate marketing? What's the thing that you're going to do in everyday life? Of course, the answer is that you are going to test out. As more tests you conduct, the more chances that you get profit. And of course, affiliate marketing is all about creating materials and testing. Back while, Traffic Factory released a new format. New format, what does it mean? It entails new decreasing bid auction. It means that the audience is not saturated and is not tired of this format, and most likely it will be profitable for you. The key thing of this is two images, the top our creatives, and the key thing that you have to take away from this case is that keep being informed about new releases and new formats in native ads, because it always entails profit for you. This is how it goes on at the very beginning. You see a couple of green lines. It's very cool to see statistics like that, because the return of investments in everyday life is growing. Just new format, nothing special. But sometimes affiliates forget that. It's statistic from Traffic Stars, and we are going to finish with the third case. It went from Romania, ExaClick. As I said already, ExaClick is the biggest network ever and have a huge amounts of publishers out there. It means that you have to take your efforts into ad optimizing, because there are too many of publishers. Nonetheless, you, of course, in general, as always, you have to create a whitelist. But in this case, we were surprised how it went on. We have seen that when we had created a whitelist, at the very finish, we had only one publisher. One publisher. Are you going to work with one publisher with an offer? As I said already, affiliates are in a rush. They want to have a big profit from one publisher. It's a very seldom case. However, it's not case like that. What we have seen is that in our whitelist there was only one publisher site, and as we understood this thing, this site have had a very clear organic traffic error. It means that marketers of this publisher are doing a good job. They attract new audience, new traffic for its publisher, and they are not saturated. They are not tired of advertising on this network. They don't have a favorite porn site in general. Return of investments is very big. And of course, all this working around native ads is about using new creatives. By the way, all these three cases are including only 6 until 9 variations of creatives only. I'm not talking about 20 or 30, as you can see in internet, in advices and suggestions. Yes, and of course, these formats are native. It's image plus text, and text part is very usual, very similar, nothing special in this field. You have to deliver a value to a customer, how it goes on, how it will help you out. Increase your size in 5 seconds, even in a week. The first part is about result. The second part is about time period, because all these purchases are an emotional-based thing. They have seen an advertising and decided to purchase. And of course, it's an emotional thing. And I suggest you working around this topic, really, because it's more similar, it's more preferable, and as we see, it can bring you profit. Return on investment is very high. You know, it's only one publisher. How much traffic you can get from one only publisher? In general, not so much, but not in that case. And before I finish, I want to share my personal tips who wants to get started with a Nutra field. The first thing is that if you are going to work with cash on delivery, there are lots of holidays in the country where you want to work. Be aware of what is happening in the jail, whether it's a Christmas holidays or whatever else, day of independency. Because in these days, most likely, call centers don't work. And of course, if you will work at these days, you keep damages. And as a result, turn on your campaigns when a call center is on. Of course, on the holidays, if it doesn't work, you shouldn't advertise your campaigns. As well as, in everyday basis, call center has its own timeline. For example, since 8 o'clock until 9 p.m. Of course, when you get started with Nutra, you start looking for new offers, and the difference sometimes is crucial. My personal tip is, and in general, of course, the fewer data spaces you have, the greater conversion you have, chances are. Because if a customer needs to put name, surname, telephone number, credit card, I don't know, zip code, it's more complicated for getting conversion. It's already not emotional purchase. No, of course it is, but it's much sophisticated. And of course, a very huge percent of traffic who has been landed on the landing page just quit because they're lazy to put all this information just for ordering. And the other thing is that, of course, there are lots of advertisers out there. Whether it's Europe, Latin America, Africa, Asia, it doesn't matter. And advertisers differ in general. And the economy is absolutely different. In one advertiser, you can find absolutely the same offer with one pricing and the another pricing of other advertiser. Of course, the less pricing, the more conversion flow you will have. When you get started in any affiliate field, whether it's Facebook or native ads or push notifications, you have to be prepared. What offer you have to choose, you can find out, of course, from your manager of network or manager of traffic source. But nonetheless, I suggest you working with Google Trends. At least it's cheap or it's free. And as well as in pay basis, I can suggest you SEMrush. SEMrush, by the way, is a very well-known tool for affiliates who are dealing with search engine optimization. The more requests in Google there are, the more chances that your product is very converted. And of course, the last thing, but not least, conduct constant A/B testing. Especially native ads, it's all about A/B testing. And that's it from my side. Thanks for your attention. I hope that these tips and these insights from me will help you out in your future. Thank you.